Good evening, everyone. I said earlier if we get a warning of any kind, I'll pop right back on here. And unfortunately, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for those of you in Lincoln, Moore, Franklin, and Jackson counties. This is going to go in effect through the next 38 minutes until 8 o'clock. This is for the possibility of small hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles an hour. The locations that are involved include Lynchburg, Winchester, Belvedere, Huntland, Flintville, Elora, down through High Top and Stevenson, down in Jackson County, Alabama, as well as the Bass community down there as well. Again, this does not include Bridgeport or Stevenson or Swanee, but this is west of there. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for Lincoln, Moore, Franklin, and Jackson counties until 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, which is 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time here on Sunday, May the 31st. So what I'm going to do here real fast is I'm going to share this video out so we can spread the word here. Hopefully you guys can help spread the word to people in these areas as well. Again, not anything tornadic, but what we're watching here is that potential for those strong damaging wind gusts as they move south through Franklin County, and also as well as Moore and Lincoln. So again, unfortunately, this thunderstorm, this complex of thunderstorms here to the west of Chattanooga has decided to act up a little bit. It's strengthened enough in intensity to where there's a feeling that this thunderstorm is actually at severe levels, so that's why we had the severe thunderstorm warning effect, and it's this area of bright orange that you see on this map. That does include areas like Winchester up towards Estill Springs, Deckard, down to Belvedere, including Timms Ford, down into Huntland, Keith Springs Mountain, and all the way down into the Stevenson area. So, again, if you are in this orange box, make sure you are. Make sure you're getting inside. Make sure you're inside, away from windows, and wait for this to pass. I said you don't have to take tornado precautions, but you definitely need to be inside and just inside somewhere safe and just away from this. And I do want to point out, I know we have another strong thunderstorm moving into Dade County, but that one's been classified as non-severe at this time. But outside of these two clusters of storms, we don't have anything else going on, at least on the severe weather side of things. I do want to point out we also have some strong thunderstorms up in DeKalb County, Tennessee, and White County moving south towards Warren and Van Buren. But thankfully, these have lost their intensity just a little bit, but they'll probably produce some heavy rain and lightning for those of you up in the upper Cumberland here over the next little bit. But again, the main area to watch right now, at least the only area seeing severe weather at the moment, is the southwestern half of Franklin County into eastern Lincoln County, southern Moore, and into northwestern Jackson County. And this is all going to go in effect here through the next half hour here, 35 minutes. I'm also, I want to mention this, I'm also broadcasting this live on my Chase Bryant Weather YouTube channel. So if you want to go over there, subscribe for free. You can watch on there as well. So I'm broadcasting this since we have a warning in effect on all platforms, at least the Facebook and the YouTube. And I do want to check out this storm in Dade County here real fast here just to make sure it's not trying to produce any similar severe characteristics as the one up in southern middle Tennessee. At the moment, it's not. But those of you around Rising Fawn down to about Sulphur Springs in DeKalb County, Alabama, east to about Cooper Heights, atop Lookout there in western Walker County, you got a strong thunderstorm with possibly some pea-size hail, heavy rain and gusty winds. But again, that thunderstorm is non-severe as it moves to the south. But again, this out here to the west is the one that's severe. Now, it does appear, I will say this, from the looks of this, I do believe that Winchester and Estill Springs and Deckard can pretty much be taken out of this warning. It does appear that the worst of this is going to stay to your south and west. So I do believe you guys are good up there, just some heavy rain and lightning. But from about Belvedere down to Keith Springs Mountain, points west into Huntland, and also Flintville and areas just east of Fayetteville around Kelso in Lincoln County up to Mulberry, that's going to be the zone to watch for this severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing some strong wind gusts and possibly some small hail, but the wind is the main thing here. Now, Jackson County, some specific areas in this warning in Jackson County, Alabama include High Top up to Jericho, Estill Fork, over to the Skyline Wildlife Management area, as well as the Bass community there along 117. Stevenson's also in this warning, so just make sure you're inside and in a good place, at least away from windows until this passes. Again, it's not a major storm. It's not like a significant deal, but again, we got this warning in effect here out of precaution, just in case the winds ramp up just a little bit to severe levels. But again, at the moment, as I'm looking at velocities and stuff here behind the scenes, nothing's really striking out at me as anything major, at least at this time. So that's the good news with this thunderstorm. Now, I do want to mention here, I haven't had any reports recently of any kind of wind damage or anything like that. So far, so good on that end of things. Hopefully it stays that way. We don't get any kind of reports or anything. But again, if you're watching from anywhere in the western end, basically the western half of Franklin County, especially west and southwest of Winchester, down through Huntland and into southern Moore County, south of downtown Lynchburg to about east of Fayetteville, make sure you guys are inside and away from windows, all that until this passes. And again, this is moving south at about, let me double check the speed. This is moving south at about 25 miles an hour. So again, we'll track a couple of these different thunderstorms. So we'll get a track first on the Stevenson part in Jackson County here. So we'll track that to the south at about 25, get to an estimated time of arrival there. Again, Stevenson, this will be in your area in about 10 minutes, so about 7:39 for you from the leading edge of this thunderstorm. Again, let me widen this out, and we'll get another track as well. We'll also put Huntland in this. I know you're already getting a heavy thunderstorm in Huntland, but this to the north and west of you in southeastern Lincoln County is heading in your direction, and it will arrive in your neighborhood here in about 10 to 20 minutes. So you're already getting a heavy thunderstorm in Huntland as part of the severe storm, but you're going to get more here over the next 10 to 20 minutes. And then lastly, High Top in Jackson County, a little quick time of arrival for you guys. Let's put that southeast as well at about 25, roughly the same speed. And that will get into the High Top area there around 7:48. So again, for those of you just tuning in, the reason why I am on here is because we have a severe thunderstorm warning for the northern quarter of Jackson County. Now, this does not include Scottsboro. This does not include Sand Mountain. This does not include Bridgeport. This is staying to your north and west. But it does include High Top. It does include Jericho and Estill Fork over towards Bass, Stevenson, North Jackson School, all that points north. In Franklin County, this warning technically includes Winchester, Deckard, and Estill, but I believe the worst of this storm is south and west of you, and you don't have to worry about it up there. Cowan, Suwanee, Sherwood, you don't have to worry about this storm. This is passing to your west. However, if you're in Belvedere, Keith Springs Mountain, and Huntland, make sure you're inside, away from windows, and with all the lightning and stuff, make sure you got things unplugged and things like that, just to make sure that lightning doesn't travel through your house all day, because this thunderstorm is producing a lot of lightning, so that's going to be the most noticeable thing with this strong to severe storm. Also, southern Moore County, south side of Lynchburg here, things are just about to clear up there, but give it about 5-10 more minutes and you'll be good up on the south end of Moore County. And then for eastern Lincoln County, this is mainly from Kelso, points east. Mulberry, you're in the clear, but from basically Kelso, Flintville, Elora, up to Shady Grove in Lincoln County, that's the area, that part of the area that's under a warning as well. And as you see, it's this big area where you see all this red and everything. The pink or purple you see on this map, that indicates the possibility of a little bit of pea-size hail. Again, hail's not the main thing here, but there is that possibility you may have a pea-size hailstone mixed in. Not a big deal, though. Again, the main thing is the wind, and I do want to show the wind velocities here. And thankfully, not seeing anything really jumping out at me when I look at this picture here on the velocity. It's very disorganized, so that's good. Again, we got some winds blowing in some directions here, about 20 to 30 one way, 20 to 30 in another. So that's kind of close enough to warrant a severe thunderstorm warning. And by the different colors here, I'm talking about like the red and green you see on this map. So, for example, the red is wind that goes away from the radar. The green is what moves toward. So typically we would see this, if these colors were matching it against each other, let's say during a tornado warning, that's when we'd be most concerned. But thankfully not in this case. So the good thing here is that the reds and greens are totally separate from each other. So what this is more of a signature of is a very strong downburst wind. Those typical straight line, heavy downburst kind of winds that can cause some tree damage, cause some power outages, that kind of thing. especially once these thunderstorms get up to near severe criteria. So, again, for those of you basically southwest of Winchester, from Belvidere up through about Broadview down to Huntland, points west and southeast into northwestern Jackson County, stay inside, stay away from windows. Just to check on this other strong thunderstorm we got in the Sulphur Springs and Rising Fawn areas here along the Georgia-Alabama border there between DeKalb County and Dade County. Again, could have some small hail in this one, but thankfully this is a non-severe storm. And they've just issued a special weather statement on this for 40-mile-an-hour winds. So they've reissued that from the one that was in place earlier. And this is going to go in effect until roughly 8:15, should be 9:15 p.m. actually Eastern time. So 9:15 p.m. Eastern time is the expiration date on this special weather statement for southern Dade, southwestern Walker County. So this includes Cedar Grove, Masseyville, Rising Fawn, Plum Nelly, Amos Mill, Head River, and areas west of Lafayette there. Also includes the Macklemore Resort area. But again, the main severe weather zone is this area right here you see moving across southwestern Franklin, extreme northwest Jackson, and the southeastern Lincoln County. So what I'll go ahead and do, since the worst is out of Moore County, if you're watching from Lynchburg, you're good. This severe thunderstorm complex is south of you. Also Estill Springs, if you didn't hear me earlier, I did say that you guys are good, and that's still the case. So if you're in Estill Springs, you're good. Winchester, Deckard, Cowan, Swanee, Alto, you're good. This is south of you by a good bit, so this is staying to your south and west. Just some rain and some thunder for you. Sherwood and not quite Anderson, but Sherwood, you guys are good. This is passing to your south and west. And again, this will not affect Marion County, so if you're watching from Marion County, you don't have to worry about this storm either. This is going to stay to your west because the general component of motion is to the south-southeast. So that's going to take this pretty much right into Jackson County, and it will probably cover most of the county here within the next half hour to an hour or so. So I know you haven't had anything yet down in Scottsboro or most of the southern half of Sand Mountain here, but you are going to get at least some heavy rain and some thunderstorms here over the next hour or so. So if this complex holds together, you will be getting that here within the next half hour to an hour or so. So just a heads up down here towards Gunnersville Lake, Scottsboro, and down into the rest of DeKalb County, Alabama. This is heading in your direction here in the next little bit. Out here to the east real fast, around the Chattanooga Metro, just some light to moderate rain around the city, up towards Cleveland into Polk County and south of Athens. But again, nothing big with this, just some light to moderate rain left over from the earlier thunderstorms. And checking on these upper Cumberland storms real quick, the heaviest is across DeKalb County, Tennessee, moving into White County. These are moving south towards Rock Island and possibly McMinnville again and into Spencer. I know, especially around McMinnville, you've had enough rain, but looks like you're going to probably get a little bit more here within the next half hour to an hour. And then out towards Crossville, you'll be getting in on more rain as well with this. But again, these are non-severe at this time. So just want to do a quick little overview so that way we have everybody covered here. And so now we turn the focus here back to this severe thunderstorm. And as I've said here a few minutes ago, thankfully this is very disorganized. There's really no part of the thunderstorm that's stronger than the other. I mean, it's pretty much all mashed together. And, you know, I said they're basically clusters in here, in other words. So there's really not a really big dominant storm, and that's the good thing. So I would not be surprised if this warning actually were to get canceled a little early, or at least go to expiration time and not be reissued because it's disorganized. And one reason that may be, and I believe this is to be the case, when you look here on velocity, not on velocity, but over here on the reflectivity, you can kind of see a little line here that's kind of driven out here along the edge of the storms. That's an outflow boundary. And when you have this outflow boundary, that tends to choke off the inflow into these thunderstorms to keep them really growing. Now, they can still get severe, produce some gusty winds and stuff, but as far as anything like tornadic or anything, that risk is pretty much zero because this outflow you see here has outran a pretty large portion of all of this. So that's the good thing. So everything here is north of the boundary. So as long as it stays north of the boundary, don't have to worry about anything too crazy. But again, you could still have some gusty winds, some heavy rain, a lot of lightning in this too. And again, that's really the main threats here. So gusty winds, frequent lightning, heavy downpours, And it's quite torrential in here too, as you see with these reds, dark reds, a little bit of pinks in here. It just shows you how intense that rain is falling. And just to kind of give you an idea here of like how much rain has fallen here, and again, let me get that off the rotation track since we're not seeing anything there. I'm going to show you the precipitation rates out of these, and these are estimated precip rates. And most of this rainfall up in here in southern Middle Tennessee and in northwestern Jackson County is falling at an average. The heaviest cores are falling at a good 2 to 4 inches per hour. Now, it's not exactly raining that at one time, but if it rained over that hard over a certain area for an hour, it would rain a good 2 to 4 inches within that hour. So these storms are dumping a lot of rainfall, and considering how saturated the ground is, especially as you get down into Jackson County, where it's rained a lot over the past week, and it has actually rained the most of the whole area, actually. The ground's pretty saturated, so it's not going to take a lot of time for that water to start running off, and could cause flash flooding as this moves south. And the speed of these thunderstorms are not moving very impressive, as is most of the case this time of the year. So this is only moving at about 20 to 25 miles an hour. So, as I'm saying, once this heavy rain moves over your location, it's probably going to sit and continue dumping for at least a good half hour at least, if not more, in some locations. So just be aware of that. Hopefully, considering this is a complex, hopefully this will start moving a little bit faster with time. Hopefully this can speed up to the point where we can avoid any kind of major flooding or anything like that. But again, this is just something to watch here as this moves south from Lincoln and Franklin counties and into Jackson County, Alabama. Again, we still got this other strong storm moving across I-59 and Highway 11 and into southern Dade County towards southwestern Walker County around Rising Fawn and points south. But again, that's non-severe at this time. Again, rain moving up I-75 and I-24 and such from Chattanooga up to Cleveland, as well as Fort O. But again, that's non-problematic. Some rain in Grundy County and Marion as well. Again, we'll check the wind mode on this severe thunderstorm. Thankfully, as I said, I'm not really seeing any really strong indications of damaging wind. I do like the warning being up there just out of precaution here because of the up and down, cycling that can happen in these thunderstorms. It can look weak one minute, then the next minute it pulses up again, and that's typically the pattern with these thunderstorms. So far I've not seen anything that really stands out to me on the wind side of things, but again, the wind is strong enough, at least along the leading edge, to where out of precaution a warning is kind of needed for this, a severe thunderstorm warning this. But like I said, I do want to stress, we don't have a tornado warning, we don't have anything like that going on. It's a severe thunderstorm warning with the possibility of strong wind gusts. And again, if you're in Winchester, if you're up towards Estill Springs, Deckard, Lynchburg, points north, you're good. This is mainly from Belvedere and Huntland, Keith Springs Mountain, west and south, down into places like Francisco and Jericho, High Top, Stevenson, Bass, those areas of Jackson County. Those are going to be the next areas in line. Now, I know Stevenson's already getting a heavy thunderstorm along the leading edge of all of this, but there will be more that follow behind that as this moves to the south and east. So, again, get ready in High Top and Skyline. This is moving down in your direction. I know you don't have a warning technically in Skyline, but this is heading down in your general direction, pretty much right down Alabama Highway 65 and Alabama Highway 79. So, just a quick heads up for you folks. And eventually this will make it down, if it holds together, into Scottsboro and into the rest of Sand Mountain that hasn't seen much today or this evening here over the next 30 minutes to half hour. So just a quick heads up for you guys out there. And again, off to the north here real quick, still got some strong thunderstorms here getting ready to cross over the Caney Fork into parts of Warren and Van Buren counties, but thankfully these thunderstorms are non-severe. Just some heavy rain, a little bit of thunder and lightning. Not really seeing much on the wind side of things. Could be a little bit of little gusty in here, but nothing really impressive with it as it moves into Rock Island here within a matter of minutes, and then eventually into places like McMinnville over towards Campaign, into Spencer, Mooneyham, Fall Creek Falls, those areas here within the next half hour or so. So it'll take its time getting there, but you'll probably see some more rain and thunderstorms within the next half hour to an hour over there. So again, here's the latest update I just got here. As you see, the radar scan just updated. Again, we still got this area of strong to severe thunderstorm activity extending from the southeast side of Fayetteville down through Flintville, the Elora area of southeastern Lincoln County into Huntland and Franklin County, and straddling pretty much right along the Alabama-Tennessee border in here towards Francisco and Jericho there in northern Jackson County, and approaching the high top radar. That's that little dome you see right here where the rain all of a sudden disappears right in here. That's not really what's happening here. It looks that way because that's where the radar site is. So that's why you see the hole right there. That's where the radar is. So we're getting a really good low-level look into this thunderstorm. So this is a pretty good accurate representation here of what's going on here, at least up in here. So again, this is where it's all heading, to the south and east here at about 20 to 25 miles an hour. I'm sure we'll probably get a warning update here very soon. If not, already, I haven't received anything new as far as reports, as far as severe weather is concerned, so that's good. But again, we'll have to watch this as it moves to the south. Again, just checking on this one storm, moving over Stevenson real quick. So around Rash, downtown, over towards Crow Creek. Some heavy rain and thunderstorms in your area down towards Mud Creek as well. So heads up in Fackler, this is heading your way. And down towards a Flat Rock there atop the mountain. So this will be crawling up Sand Mountain here momentarily, up 117 into the Flat Rock area, and eventually Eider and Pisgah, as well as the Henniger area here of northeast Alabama. And then after that first wave, you got this second one back here that's moving across southwestern Franklin, southeastern Lincoln counties. That's going to get down in here as well and move into Scottsboro, Langston section, down towards Dutton, into possibly Rainsville and Sylvania down the road as well. So, again, that's where all that's going over the next half hour. So what I will do here is put an estimated track on this just to give you at least somewhat of a general idea here as to when this will be near your towns here across the northeastern end of the state of Alabama. So I'll track this to the south at 25, where the current movement goes. Again, Skyline and High Top here, this will be in your area here. So High Top pretty much now, but Skyline, this will be near you in about 20 minutes, around 8:04, around 8:30 for Scottsboro, just before 8:45 in Pisgah, about 8:47 in a section, about 9 o'clock in Sylvania, 9:08 for Rainsville, Fife around 9:12, and Fort Payne, possibly if it makes it that far south, between roughly 9 and 10 o'clock. Again, these are estimated times, so Again, these are not exactly times. Again, these are what we call ETAs. These are estimated times of arrival. Again, they're estimated. Again, always assume it can get there about 10 minutes earlier, because remember, storm motions change. So just to keep that in mind. And this is just kind of a general planning thing. So, and that track pretty much goes out to about 1 to 2 hours. So that's going to be the zone over the next 1 to 2 hours that we'll be getting all this. That's moving out of southern middle Tennessee here over the next hour to 2 hours. So, again, the main areas of heads up, southeastern Lincoln, southwestern Franklin, pretty much most of Jackson County except Bridgeport and Bryant, and down to DeKalb County, Alabama here. Now, real quick, let's check on this storm to the east here. Moving over just south of Rising Fawn in southern Dade County, moving into southwestern Walker around Head River and along 157 there on top of the mountain, passing pretty close to where the Macklemore Golf Course and Resort are up in here in northwest Georgia here. This is moving to the south and east again about 20 miles an hour. Again, this will probably miss Lafayette, so I think you guys are good in Lafayette. This is going to likely stay to your west. Again, it's a non-severe storm, but it's going to produce some heavy rain, a little bit of lightning, perhaps some pea-sized hail in that as well as that moves to the south. So it'll miss you guys, but in Lafayette. But down around Tryon and Somerville in Chattooga County, you will probably get this thunderstorm here within the next half hour to an hour or so, if it can hold together. And so far, it's showing signs of weakening, so it may fall apart before it gets there. But if it does hold together, you'll be seeing that within the next half hour to an hour. Now, speaking of weakening, I do believe that this activity has come down just a little bit. Now, of course, we still got the reds and all that indicate the very torrential rain and all that. But when I look at the wind mode on this, as I've been saying here, not really seeing anything that really jumps out. It still looks disorganized. Winds look more gusty than damaging at this point, so that's a step in the right direction here. So these are more gusty thunderstorms than really severe at this point. So I don't expect this, as long as it doesn't strengthen or re-intensify over the next 10 minutes. I really don't expect this warning to be extended farther south into the Scottsboro area, but we'll just stay on this and hang on here until this warning expires or is canceled early here, just in case this were to pulse back up again. But it does appear that this thunderstorm, as it is moving south, it does appear to be losing its intensity here just a little bit. And again, that outflow running out ahead of it is probably helping with that aid of some of that weakening here too. So that really helps too. Again, when the warning was first issued here, just after about 7:20 or so, at that time, this is what it looked like. So about 20, 30 minutes ago, that's why the warning was prompted, because it got intense there as those thunderstorms are clustered against one another. But what's happened here over the last 30 minutes is we've had a cycle down phase, basically. It's cycled down, and as you see, it's not only shrunk a little, but it's lost the worst of its intensities a little bit. I mean, it's still producing a lot of torrential rain and lightning and such, at least on that end of things. But as far as the wind, it's mostly just gusty, and then the intensities, at least behind this first wave of the heavier rain, have come down a little bit too. So I do believe that we are on a weakening trend here as this moves south into Jackson County here. Again, you'll still get some lightning, you'll still get some heavy rain, you may still get some gusty winds, but at this point, as long as this doesn't re-intensify over the next 10 minutes or so, I don't think we're dealing with anything as far as severe weather is concerned. But again, just out of precaution, since the warning still technically runs in effect, the severe thunderstorm warning still runs in effect for about another 10 minutes. Let's just still take precautions here and be inside, be away from windows and all that, and just wait this out here at least until the warning expires. And definitely stay inside for sure, from the lightning, because lightning's a big danger with this thunderstorm. I mean, this is still cranking out quite a bit of lightning here, as you see on this map. The little white strikes you see on this, that's the lightning indicator you see on here, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of it in here. I mean, I wish I had a lightning counter on here. I sadly don't, as far as because I'm sure it's probably at least in the hundreds, I'd imagine, at least, considering how much lightning has been occurring within this. So it's definitely an electrical storm, for sure. So it'll be loud, but as far as anything crazy, it shouldn't be anything big. Now, we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning in. This is actually going to be an extension. Little surprising here, considering that this is lost its intensities a little bit, but out of precaution, the National Weather Service in Huntsville has issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for Lincoln County and also southwestern Franklin and northwestern Jackson County. So I'll draw that on the map here because we got two different warnings here overlying each other. So let me change that to orange, and you'll be able to see that. So it's pretty much this area right here they just put out. So that's the polygon that just showed up on the screen. So let me get you some information on that. That's a new severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Jackson County, extreme southwestern Franklin County, and pretty much most, if not all, of Lincoln County. And this is going to go in effect until 8:30. At 7:48, severe thunderstorms located along a line extending from Fayetteville to 7 miles north of New Market to 9 miles southeast of Huntland. The movement is southwest at only 10 miles an hour. So, in other words, this is a very slow-moving thunderstorm. Hazard is 60-mile-an-hour winds and penny-sized hail. It's radar indicated. Locations that are in the path of this include Fayetteville, Huntland, Skyline, New Market. This also includes Madison County, Alabama as well. Lincoln, High Top, Howell, Plevna, Jericho, and Elora. So those are the locations here in the western sections of our coverage area here that are under this severe thunderstorm warning. And pretty good hail core as well there south of Elora, north of New Market there as well, there in Madison County. But again, the wind still doesn't look too crazily impressive on here, and it's also kind of tough to see because we're kind of in the middle of the, as the storm moves over high tops, that may be underestimating the data just a little bit here. But again, still could have some strong wind gusts in here, at least upwards of 40 to 50, with maybe an isolated pocket up to 60 in here, so that's why the warning's kind of in place out of precaution in case it pulses up again. But heads up around New Market there, if you're watching from there in Madison County. I think we can kind of take Fayetteville out of this here because Fayetteville is on the north side of this and it's moving away from you. But from Park City and Flintville south, just stay alert. High over towards other communities like Estill Fork and Larkin up to Francisco and the northwest tip of Jackson County, as well as Princeton over to Baileytown. These are the areas that need to be on guard for possible severe weather. Now, the good news here is if you are in Stevenson up towards Sherwood, Belvedere, and Winchester that were in the warning previously, the warning's been canceled for you guys. So if you are in like Belvedere, Winchester, Estill Springs, down to Sherwood and Stevenson that were in the warning earlier, the severe thunderstorm warning earlier, that warning's been canceled. So you guys are good there. And also the worst of these thunderstorms are passing to your west and south. So since that warning's been canceled for you, you're good. So again, this is really only for Huntland and Flintville, Elora, and down towards the High Top and Skyline areas, as well as Estill Fork there in northwestern Jackson County. Again, this does not include Scottsboro. This does not include Hollywood. This does not include, Section or any of the Sand Mountain communities. This is to your north and west by a good bit here. Now, I will put this into motion here just to show, again, that this is moving to the south, so it is heading in your direction if it holds together. Hopefully it'll be at a weaker state by the time it gets up there and isn't really problematic, but do expect some heavy rain, some lightning, some gusty winds if this thunderstorm complex were to hold together. Now, as I zoom this out and show the whole overview, that's the only warning that we have at this time over there across parts of southern Middle Tennessee and northeast Alabama. Again, we still got some thunderstorms I'll check out real quick up here around Rock Island down towards the Champaign area, as well as Quebec over towards Doyle there along the Caney Fork. These are currently non-severe, but some good soaking downpours and some lightning are moving across those areas. And if they can hold together, it looks like those of you in Spencer will be getting some rain out of this soon, as well as areas down towards the north and east sides of McMinnville as well. You'll probably get some rain out of it. Smithville, you're pretty much clear of this now, as this all has moved to your west and south, as well as Sparta. Got a little bit of light to moderate rain in Crossville, but nothing big. Still got some light to moderate rain in the Chattanooga metro area, basically from downtown points east and south, but this is nothing to worry about. Same with Bradley and Polk, just some light rain there, light rain in Ringgold. And we got this one heavy cell here that's passing to the west of Lafayette there, over towards the 157 corridor, which is the Macklemore Resort area. There, top lookout along the Dade-Walker County line. Again, that's moving south and east, but is non-severe. But again, heads up Tryon and around Cloudland down toward Menlo and Somerville. This is heading in your direction, so you'll probably get a strong thunderstorm with some lightning and heavy rain here very shortly. Again, here's this heavy thunderstorm that's non-severe, but a heavy one also south of Stevenson now, crossing over the river and up 117 towards Flat Rock and also the Pisgah area, as well as Eider. So you'll be getting some heavy rain and thunderstorms shortly there as well. This looks like this one's going to miss Higdon, so this is going to stay west of Higdon, west of Trenton, and south of Bridgeport. So you guys are good over here. This is not the severe part. The severe part is this up in here that's being warned on around the High Top area and up towards Highway 65 there. So that would be around Larkin, Francisco, Estill Fork there in the northwest tip of Jackson County. This is the part that's being warned on for the possibility of damaging winds. Now up in here, I'll go ahead and give you folks in Keith Springs Mountain and Huntland all clear, because the worst of this has shifted south into Jackson County. So if you're in Huntland, if you're in Keith Springs Mountain, I'm giving you the all clear. You don't have to worry about this anymore. This is passing to your south. Now, you do have another heavy thunderstorm to your west between Flintville and Park City and Lincoln County, but that's moving south and will stay west of you. So, again, for Lincoln County, give it about 5-10 more minutes, and I believe you guys will be good there. And then that will be moving down into Madison County, and it may affect parts of the Huntsville area down the road, but it should stay east of downtown. But again, for northwestern Jackson County, mainly the rural areas here, pretty much in northwest Jackson County, around High Top and points west, that's the only area that's experiencing severe weather at this time, as of this very minute here, as we approach the 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time hour here on Sunday, May 31st. Now, I do want to make a quick reminder here that we should start seeing this activity fade as we get closer to midnight and overnight. I do believe we'll start seeing this kind of weaken and fade out here as we get overnight. So I really don't anticipate any major issues going into the morning. But again, tomorrow afternoon, Monday evening, we do look to have possibly another wave of rain and thunderstorms moving through, possibly, again, as that front moves to the south. So we'll have to watch that carefully. And that one does actually carry a marginal severe risk with it. I mean, it's not impressive looking, but again, is what we're seeing here tonight in our western areas. There could be that one storm that tries to get severe and produce some strong wind gusts, perhaps a little bit of hail. Again, basically the same threats as today in a nutshell. So, again, we'll have to watch for more storms Monday afternoon, evening. And what happens tonight may, and I will say this, what's happening here with these tonight could play a factor into what we see tomorrow afternoon, evening. It could play a factor in that. So, because sometimes these thunderstorms here, the night before, especially if they're strong enough, they can leave behind leftover boundaries, and those leftover boundaries could be the emphasis points to where the next day's round of rainstorms could form near or along. So that'll be something to watch overnight. And again, we really won't know that until tomorrow. But again, that's just something to kind of point out there, that sometimes you get some leftover boundaries that are left over from previous rainstorms, and along and near those areas are where you can get more development, the next day for the next wave. But again, at the moment, we got one warning that we're working. This is the one severe thunderstorm we're working here is for northwestern Jackson County into southeastern Lincoln County. I know it still technically goes into effect for Franklin County, but y'all are good. Y'all are in good shape there. Things are going to be quieting down there over the next 15, 20 minutes or so, at least as far as the rain and thunderstorms are concerned, especially down towards the Huntland area. It'll take a little bit longer to get out of there, but as I said, you're clear from severe weather in that area. I do want to point out there was another special weather statement that was just issued here just a few moments ago that goes into effect for parts of Sand Mountain. This is for penny-size hail and possibly up to 40 to 50 mile-an-hour wind gusts. So let me get that information out to you. A strong thunderstorm will impact northeastern Jackson and northeastern DeKalb counties and Alabama through 8:45. At 7:55 p.m., Doppler radar is tracking a thunderstorm near just south of Stevenson, or 11 miles south of Bridgeport. This is moving southeast at 25 miles an hour. Hazard or wind gusts of 45 to 50 miles an hour and penny-size hail. It is radar indicated. Locations that are in the path of this include Henniger, Eider, Valley Head, Hammondville, Mentone, Rosalie, Fabius, and Sulphur Springs. So those are the locations that are in the path of this strong thunderstorm you see right here in the middle of the screen that's getting close to Eider there on Sand Mountain. And then there's the other strong thunderstorm in southwestern Walker County heading down towards Trine and Somerville and Chattooga County. And then we got this storm that's technically severe moving across northwestern Jackson still, and it's laying out a pretty good outflow boundary right in here. So it's definitely producing some strong winds as it moves south through areas like Larkin, Estill Fork, down to Bailey downtown and Princeton, approaching Skyline. And it's moving right down Highway 65 here. So that's going to head down towards Holly Tree, the Trenton area of western Jackson County, Alabama, down towards Pleasant Groves, Limrock, and possibly Woodville if it holds together. So Woodville up towards Paint Rock and Gurley. This will be heading in your direction here over the next half hour. So get ready for at least some strong winds and some lightning and heavy rain within the next half hour in your area. And it does appear, based on the strongest part of this, while you will likely get some heavy rain and probably a little bit of thunder and lightning in Scottsboro, it looks like the worst of all this is going to stay just to your west and just to your east by a little bit. I mean, could that change in about 10 minutes? Yes, but at the moment it does appear that you'll probably get split from the worst of all this, so that's the good news there, at least for Scottsboro and Hollywood. But you will get some heavy rain here within the next 20 minutes to a half an hour or so at least. And then again up here across the Tennessee side here, nothing too impressive here across southeast Tennessee. Just a little bit of light rain left over here around the metro, and then up to the north. And checking on this thunderstorm in Warren County into parts of Van Buren County. Just a strong thunderstorm with heavy rain, some lightning. Nothing big with this as this moves to the south. So it's already raining in Spencer, but heads up down there around Piney over towards Fall Creek Falls and west into McMinnville, as well as Centertown and Morrison. This is all heading in your direction. Nothing severe, but you'll have a pretty good period of some heavy rain, even though you really don't need any more considering how much you've had today. But you're going to get more heavy rain here over the next half hour or so. So just to check on those other areas real quick, again, still got some light to moderate rain around Crossville as well, moving south. But the only area that's really seeing severe weather right now is northwestern Jackson County. They're from High Top West, from Highway 79 west to Highway 65. And then over here across southeastern Lincoln County between Flintville, Vantown, and Park City, and Howell Hill. That's the zone in Lincoln County that has a strong thunderstorm that to me isn't severe, but it's strong enough to produce some gusty winds as that moves to the south towards Newmarket. But again, this is the zone right now that has the strongest, at least signature for strong winds that could be, on the level of strong to severe. Again, we'll check on this thunderstorm here moving atop Sand Mountain here real quick to make sure it's not doing anything, funky or anything. But thankfully it's not. It's just a gusty thunderstorm with maybe some penny-sized hail, some gusty winds here as it crosses the 71 corridor and right down 117 into the Eider and Rosalie areas. So just a heads up here around this part of northeast Alabama to about as far south as Henniger, and eventually down towards Valley Head and Hammondville and Mentone. This is heading in your direction, as well as the Sulphur Springs area here of DeKalb County as it moves to the south and east. So heads up around there. And looks like this is going to miss most of Fort Payne, but Fort Payne may get brushed here by this western end where the heavy rain is there. And then Fayetteville, you guys are good. Thumbs up for me. You guys are good. You don't have to worry about anything. Winchester, Deckard, you guys are good. So as I said, all of Franklin County here, you're in good shape. Don't have to worry about any strong to severe storms anymore there. And then around Marion County, you're good. Chappaqua County, you're good, as well as Catoosa County and most of Walker County as well. Just some rain over here, and this one little heavy cell that's passing south and west of Lafayette there, moving to the south and east. So and eventually that'll be into Chattooga County or within the next 10 minutes or so. So again, as I said, we're really working one warning, and then we just got a couple of in our southwestern communities here. But again, that's pretty much it, and that's the good thing here, at least as far as strong to severe storms are concerned. Yes, we got some heavy rain, some thunder up here in the upper Cumberland area from McMinnville, Spencer north, but again, this is currently nothing to worry about as well. So what I will do here real quick is put a quick storm track on this as this moves to the southwest at only about 10 to 15 miles an hour. So times may be off just by a little bit here, but it's still worth giving some notice here. So again, I'll put that at about 15 here to average that out. So some locations that are in the path of this include Woodville there around, hold on a second there, Woodville around 8:57, and then Little Nashville around 8:21, Trenton, Alabama, not Georgia there, Alabama at 8:24, and then down here to the south, the Fern Cave area around 8:48, Paint Rock around 8:53, and then Woodville there around 8:57. So those are going to be the locations that'll be in the path of that here over the next hour. And we'll also put a track here on this cell that's moving to the east, southeast as well at about, this one's moving a little bit faster at 25. So what I'll do is I'll update the track on this thing, and we'll move it south there at about that speed. Again, Valley Head, this will be around 8:38. Probably just a touch sooner, but it'll be pretty close. Again, Pea Ridge Crossroads around 8:20. Really an Eider or within the next 5 minutes around there. So that's where it'll be heading after that. For Chattooga County, considering this is moving at about the same speed, I'll give you guys a quick track as well because I got a few of you that follow me from down there. And we'll track that to the south and east also at about the same speed. And this will be near Tryon and around 8:26. That's 9:26 Eastern time. And then around Pennville and Somerville there around 9:30 will be the impact time for that. At least the estimated time of arrival for all this. So there's a few different tracks I put out there for you guys there just to make sure that you're staying aware and all that ahead of that. Again, we don't have anything tornadic or anything like that. The only reason why that I'm on here right now is because we got this one severe thunderstorm warning in northwestern Jackson County, and moving around to places like Skyline, High Top, Estill Fork, that area, and moving south. And so if it holds together, it will probably impact areas towards Woodville and Paint Rock and around the Madison County line around Gurley here within the next half hour or so. So that's why I went ahead and put some fresh tracks on that. But again, I do want to point out here that if you're on the Tennessee side here, you have nothing to worry about. This is all to your south and west. You don't have anything to worry about in here. The only spots here locally in the tri-state that are having any kind of strong storm activity is mostly Jackson County, Alabama, northeastern DeKalb County, Alabama, in extreme southwest Walker County, and down into parts of Chattooga County. These are the only spots here, and I'll circle that for you, and I'll probably change this color here to more of a whitish color on here, just that way it doesn't come out as red. We don't want to show red here, but this is the as far as warnings, and we don't want to confuse anybody here and think there was a tornado warning when there's not. So I changed the color here so I could circle this, and you might be able to see this a little bit better. But right in here is the corridor where we have the strong thunderstorms at the moment. I probably should have drawn that just a little shorter, but you get the idea here is that all this is moving in a direction like this. So all this is moving to the south and southeast here at about 10 to 20 miles an hour. So eventually, those of you that have not gotten rain yet, in places like Lake Gunnersville, down towards Scottsboro, Section, Rainsville, Fort Payne, Somerville, Tryon, down to Collinsville and Geraldine, you will eventually get rain out of this in some way. Hopefully in a non-severe way, but you will be getting at least some rain and some thunderstorms out of this within the next half hour to an hour at least as this moves to the south. Now, you get out here to the east towards Dalton and Calhoun and Chatsworth, you don't have anything to worry about there, and you don't have anything to worry about on the Tennessee side. And what I'll do also, we'll check on this up here to the north, as I said here, for those of you maybe watching from Warren County or Van Buren County, nothing to worry about here. Getting just some heavy rain, a little bit of lightning. That's it up there. So, again, as I said, Tennessee side, you really don't have to worry about this anymore. You can go to sleep if you want to and all that. And really, for the most part, I think most areas can go to sleep pretty much because I really don't anticipate any additional problems during the night or anything like that. So, if you're on the Tennessee side, and really most areas, you can go to sleep because I don't see any kind of tornadic activity or anything like that brewing. But again, we will have some times where we have some rain and thunderstorms in the area here during part of the night. But as far as additional severe weather is concerned locally, I think we're pretty much about done with that, barring any random circumstances. So at the moment, this is the only part of the area that's under a warning that's currently in effect. This is for northwestern Jackson County. Again, running from basically Skyline and Princeton points north through High Top, moving up towards the Jericho, Estill Fork areas. That's the only part of the area that currently has any kind of warnings in effect at this time. So what I'll do actually also, since we don't have anything else going on, I will answer some questions here. Again, if you're in Trenton, you guys are good. Cohutta, y'all are good as well. Rossville, Chickamauga, nothing to worry about there. Jasper, nothing to worry about. Fort Payne, you'll be getting some rain and thunderstorms likely from this within the next hour or so. Hopefully it won't be anything big, but shouldn't be, but you'll probably get some rainstorms there. Scottsboro, same thing applies there. This is staying well south of Dunlap. This is not going to be anywhere near Dunlap, so you're good up there. These storms are moving to the south, roughly south to southeast. Still pouring and lightning and thundering in Stevenson. The one in North Tennessee, will that make it to Chattanooga? This rain up in here around McMinnville and Spencer, it might, but considering that the atmosphere is so worked over from the earlier evening rain and thunderstorms, I do believe that these up in here will probably fall apart as they move towards the city. Wouldn't ride a little bit of additional rain, but as what we're seeing up in here, they're much weaker. Bridgeport, yep, you're good. some thunder earlier in Whitwell. Let's see here. Already cooler in Scottsboro and all of that. So just wanted to get through some comments there real quick. Dogtown, this will probably be heading in your direction too. You'll probably get some rain and some thunder and lightning as well at some point here. Will the second round make it to Sail Creek? I mean, you might get some rain maybe, but it shouldn't be anything big. Pikeville, same thing there. Thundering and Ringgold. Like I said, I'm just reading through some of your reports here while I have some time here to go by. Jackson County. So as long as we don't get anything additional that pops up between now and then, I should be able to log off here and get this update here ready to roll here for tomorrow and such. So that way I can get that out there. And also right now, actually, the good thing here is actually the good thing about it being a little bit delayed tonight as far as this next update, as far as the discussion's concerned. We're actually getting in new model information right now for tomorrow. I don't have that uploaded on here just yet, but as far as like the Futurecast, but it is starting to come in. So by the time we get through with this, I'll be able to take some time and look at that and see what it shows for Monday afternoon and evening. So as we do have another chance for some rain and thunderstorms, in the afternoon and evening. And again, similar to what we're seeing here this evening, there could be one or two storms that may challenge, strong, possibly severe levels with those strong wind gusts, the heavy downpours, the lightning, that kind of thing. Not really seeing any risk of tornadoes, thankfully. In these type of patterns here, especially when these thunderstorms are outflow dominant as they are here, you don't really ever really have to hardly worry about anything tornadic because these thunderstorms are practically cut off from their main inflow. So they don't have really any kind of big thing to be able to rotate or anything like that. They just don't have that ability. They do have the ability to produce the very heavy rain and the strong winds and maybe a little bit of small hail, but they don't have the ability to do anything tornadic. So that's the good thing with this, and that's why I don't see that being an issue here. So again, we'll get some new information here, and I will say that there are some questions a little bit for tomorrow afternoon and evening's wave. There's the possibility we may have a complex of thunderstorms that might try to come down from western Kentucky, the Mississippi River Valley, that may try to head this way during the afternoon and evening tomorrow on our Monday, June 1st. But again, as far as exactly where that sets up, where that's going to go, we're really not going to know that answer until really morning once that starts developing out that way. And once it starts developing out that way, then we'll have a much better idea as to what will likely happen during the afternoon and evening. So, and again, the effects from this wave tonight may also play a role in that as well, and where those leftover boundaries may end up lying. So there's a lot of factors here that go into this time of year, and it's very tricky to be able to forecast. That's why it's best to simply say that there's that chance for scattered rain and storms because of that. Now, unfortunately, we do have a new warning here, so it looks like this storm is pulsed up yet again. Unfortunately, we now have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's going to cover most of Jackson County, not Stevenson and Bridgeport, though. It's going to stay west of you, but it does include Scottsboro. It does include a lot of Sand Mountain, including Henniger, Sylvania, Rainsville, and down towards the Gunnersville area. And this warning is going to run in effect. Let me get you the time on that because it just popped up on the screen. So I was talking to you there. That warning goes into effect until 9 o'clock. This goes into effect for northeastern Marshall County, most of Jackson County, and also central DeKalb County in northeast Alabama. At 8:14, a severe thunderstorm was located over Skyline, or 13 miles to the northwest of Scottsboro. It's moving southeast at 25 miles an hour. Hazard is a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and penny-sized hail. It is radar indicated. Locations that are in the path of this include Scottsboro, Fort Payne, Gunnersville, Rainsville, Henniger, Sylvania, Fife, Hollywood, Powell, and Grant. So those are the locations that are in the path of this. Also, Dutton's also in the path of this, as well as a section as well. So those of you in those areas, and make sure you're inside and away from windows. And I will say this has pulsed up a little bit. And we're now starting to see severe winds again on this. So we're seeing some 50 to 60 in here as it's come south out of the high top radar. So again, right over where it says Little Nashville and the Trenton area of western Jackson County, Alabama, points south towards Pleasant Groves. That's the zone right now that's experiencing the potential for strong to damaging winds. And this is practically paralleling Highway 79 here. So this is likely going to affect the west side of Scottsboro here, out towards Limrock and Larkinsville here very shortly. And again, downtown Scottsboro may get a little bit of small hail and some heavy rain and gusty wind, but it does look like the worst of the wind is likely going to pass to the north and west of you. Now, I do actually have permission to borrow a camera that's actually out in this area. The Jackson County EMA there, Joshua Wickham there, is allowing me permission to borrow one of their cameras here. There's a HazCam in section that's also operated by the Alabama Weather Network, and I can actually show you what's going on with that. And out in the distance here, you can see that where you're looking from the north and west here towards that severe thunderstorm, and out in the distance you can kind of start making out that shelf cloud there off in the distance as that moves to the south and east towards the Scottsboro area. So we do have some leftover light here, so that does kind of help with this, and I'm sure once it gets dark this will show some pretty good lightning. So that's the spot right now that's experiencing this severe storm. And so I kind of have this in a double box here so you can kind of see what's going on there as that moves to the south and east again. So far, nothing really crazy with that, so we'll X out of that for now and wait for it to get a little bit closer. But that's the situation there in western Jackson County. And we still got this warning technically up in here in southeastern Lincoln and southwestern Franklin, but that's just about to expire here in about 10 minutes. But as I said, if you're in Lincoln and Franklin, you're good. The worst of this severe storm is down in Alabama and mainly in Jackson County. So for those of you on the Tennessee side, as I said, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about this anymore. So what I'll do here real quick is I will also share this warning out here real quick and see if we get some more people to pop on here so that way we get some people alerted to what's going on. Again, if you are watching from the Tennessee side, you have nothing to worry about. Georgia side, same thing. And again, what I'll do here, and yes, I will do a future track on this, so we'll look at that. And this is moving southeast at 25, so it's sped back up just a little bit, and we'll put some times of arrival on this real fast. And again, those of you in Scottsboro, this will be in your area around 8:34, Section around 8:50, and Dutton around 8:52. So those of you in those areas are in line. And also this includes, let's see if we can get some other areas as well. I'll have to zoom out and put out another one here real quick so that way I can get the other communities. So hold on here just a second. We'll get Langston and Section and also Powell, and we'll see if we get Rainsville in here. Okay, good. So this will be in Section around 8:58, Dutton around 9:02, around 9:12 in Powell, around 9:18 in Sylvania, about 9:20 for Fife and Rainsville. So that's for this segment of the line right here. And this will also be in the Woodville area of Jackson County here also at around 8:47. So those are some estimated times of arrival here. And ignore what you see here to the right. Those tornado warnings are up in South Dakota. I don't know why that popped up on there, but again, that's not us. But this right here is the severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for most of Jackson County. And now I will say, if you're up towards Flat Rock and you're up towards Bridgeport or Stevenson or Higdon or anywhere like that, you're not involved in this. You don't have to worry about this storm. Rosalie, you don't have to worry about this either. This is to your west and south. So the main areas of Jackson County in this warning are places like Skyline, Pleasant Groves, Paint Rock, Woodville, Langston, Scottsboro, Hollywood, over towards Pisgah, Dutton, Section. Those are the areas in Jackson County in the warning. In DeKalb County, Alabama, it does not include Fort Payne at the moment, but it does include Henniger, it includes Fife, it includes Sylvania and Rainsville. You're in this warning as well. This warning also includes the southwestern sides of Valley Head and Hammondville. So just a little bit of heads up in those areas. You have a strong thunderstorm moving in there as well within the next 5-10 minutes or so. So heads up there. Also, real quick, down in Chattooga County, there's another strong thunderstorm with possibly some small hail and heavy rain moving over Tryon and Menlo and Somerville. But again, that's non-severe as that moves to the south and east. So again, good thing there. And we'll check velocities here real quick just to make sure it's not. And I said this wind's actually ramping up a little bit more. So we're now starting to see some 60 to 63 in here. So this is definitely a wound up line of thunderstorms moving across western Jackson County. And elevation can play a factor in this considering the rugged terrain out in here. So that could be helping to kind of amp this up a little bit, at least on the wind side of things, the straight line wind side of things, and possibly increasing those wind speeds. So if you're in an area around Scottsboro and down towards the lake and up towards a section and Langston and such, if you got time to charge your phone out of precaution, I'd go ahead and do that in case you lose power, because once you get the winds to get into like the 60 to 65 mile per hour range, that's when you start potentially starting to lose power in those areas. So those are the spots that really need to be on alert right now for the possibility of severe weather. Now, again, as I said, this is the only area that's currently seeing any kind of severe weather at the moment. As I point and do a quick overview, again, just as a reminder, got a strong thunderstorm up in Warren County. This is producing some heavy downpours. Not a big deal, non-severe. And then we got some leftover rain across Marion County, south and east and northwest Georgia. That is nothing of worry. The main area of worry right now is in the southwestern half of Jackson County and northwestern DeKalb County, Alabama here. So I do want to make that point clear on that. So what I'll do here real fast here, I'll go ahead and share this out to my group here real fast. That way we can get some eyeballs on this. That way we can get people aware. And also if you're in the same area here and you know somebody that lives, let's say in Scottsboro or this part of Sand Mountain, make sure that they are aware and inside, away from windows. Now you don't have to take tornado precautions out of this, so that's the good thing, at least right now. But you do need to be inside in a good place, away from those windows, and just wait for this to pass. And all that. So that's just some good advice there that I can give you on that end of things. So as far as the Tennessee side here, as I know we still got that warning for about another 5 minutes for those of you in southern Lincoln and southern. The worst of it south of you, you don't have to worry about it. So I think we could put a big X on this one. But the primary area right now is here across northeast Alabama. So again, Scottsboro, this is knocking on your doorstep. It's going to be there in about 5 to 10 minutes roughly. So just make sure you're inside. If you're outside, you need to get inside and away from the lightning at least. So just make sure you're inside a good, safe place here until this passes. And again, this is going to move to the south here fairly steadily, so it's going to take its time getting through. So those winds will last a few minutes, and then the rain will pretty much follow in behind that. So that's just something to note here as this moves off to the south and southeast here at about 20 to 25 miles an hour. Now you're already getting some strong thunderstorms up around Henniger and out towards Hammondville and Valley Head and down to Sylvania, almost to Sylvania, but not yet. But again, this part right in here is not the main concern. The main concern's back here, moving right down Alabama Highway 79 into the Scottsboro area, and also down Highway 65 towards Paint Rock and the Woodville area as well. So just some heads up in those areas as this moves to the south and southeast. So let's take a look at that camera there real quick and see what it's looking like now. As I do have permission to share this here. Unfortunately, we're starting to get to the range where we're getting in some darkness here, so it's getting harder to see, and it looks like it's frozen there. So unfortunately, it's not in a good range at this point. But again, you can kind of get a general idea here is that this is moving to the south. Now, Scottsboro, you already got a downpour that's popped up over town, but again, the severe stuff is just to your north by no more than maybe 5 minutes. I mean, it's knocking on your doorstep there in that area. And the good thing here is on that last volume scan, the wind did come down just a little bit on velocities. Still showing about 50 to 60 in here, but we're not seeing that 60 to 65 that we saw a few minutes ago. So hopefully this thunderstorm is starting to pulse down and hopefully maybe starting to weaken a little bit as it moves to the south. But still be prepared for those strong wind gusts there in the Woodville area and east into Scottsboro itself and down towards Langston section and also Grant here over the next 30 minutes or so as this moves to the south and southeast here at about 25 miles an hour. So again, if you're down towards Rainsville, this is your heads up, as well as if you happen to be watching from Guntersville, this is also your heads up in advance. This is all moving into the south and southeast towards your areas. Also Powell, you're also in line for this, as well as a section in Fife and some other areas also involved, include areas along 227 down towards Kirbytown, Guntersville Lake, all these subdivisions here, Swearingen there. So all these neighborhoods and communities here along the river need to be, inside and away from windows here. Definitely don't be out there on the water in this kind of situation, especially considering that we do have this lightning threat and especially the potential for some damaging winds as this moves to the south. Again, no areas of rotation. I do want to point that out. There's no evidence of anything like that. This is truly mostly an outflow dominated line of storms that's just thankfully staying that way. So as long as it stays that way, we don't have to worry about anything major on that end of things. So that's good as it moves to the south and southeast. But again, this will be a heavy thunderstorm. That'll produce some strong to damaging winds there, and for a few minutes, and then the wind will die down, and then the heavy rain will follow that. So again, that's going to be the zone here for the next few minutes. And then that's going to go all the way down towards the Guntersville area and all that. And again, this warning up in here is pretty much X'd at this point because this is about to expire in about 2 minutes, this northern end warning. But this warning right here you see in orange in the middle of your screen. This one goes in effect for about 30 more minutes until 9 o'clock. So the southern boundary of this warning can kind of give you at least somewhat of an idea of where this thunderstorm will likely be within 30 minutes. So it'll probably be somewhere right down in here along the southern end of the warning, down here closer to Rainsville and possibly Grant, Guntersville area down to Fife by the time that warning gets let go. So that's sort of a bit of a projection here, at least on the southern end of this warning, where it'll probably be by that point in time. So that just kind of gives you an idea here. So right now, Scottsboro is pretty much in the middle of this, or about to be soon, but still, Scottsboro's pretty much in the middle of it. And after it gets through there, it'll climb up the mountain here, across the Tennessee River, move up in the section, and move along towards Dutton, up to Pisgah, and possibly as far east as Henniger, and down through about Sylvania, cross the county line from Jackson County into DeKalb County, Alabama, and approach the Powell area around Northeast Alabama Community College, and down into the Sylvania and Rainsville areas, Fife as well. And if it can hold together, those of you around Geraldine, Crossville, Alabama, and east towards Collinsville and up to Fort Payne, you'll be next in line to see this if it can hold together within the next hour. Reason why I'm saying if here is because, again, there's a lot that can change. This can easily pulse up, this can pulse down and weaken, so that's why, you just got to err on the side of caution. I'm trying to give you a little bit of a heads up here at the same time and want to do that. At the same time, though, just saying if it were to hold together, that's where it'll be here within the next hour or so. And if you're in High Top and Skyline in that part of Jackson County, you are in the clear from this. So also, if you're in Stevenson and Bridgeport and happen to be watching from there, you got my thumbs up. You're good. Over towards Higdon, Flat Rock, Bryant, even Eider, you guys are in good shape, much better shape. The worst of this is to your west and south. And also, we got another strong storm I do want to note real quick that I've been watching for the last hour or so in Chattooga County, Georgia here, moving over Trine and Somerville. But thankfully, that part is non-severe. Just a good old thunderstorm with some heavy rain and lightning there. And we'll check on these this one thunderstorm on the Tennessee side, moving over McMinnville and Centertown down towards Irving College and Highway 8. Again, that's moving to the south, non-severe, but it'll be a pretty good downpour as it moves in the direction of Grundy County here, probably within the next Watchie County as well. But again, at least this is thankfully weak, so don't have anything to worry about there. Just got a new scan here of radar here about a couple moments ago there, so we'll see how that looks now. Again, the picture may jump a little bit from time to time as it gets that new scan in. And velocities thankfully continue to trend on the weekend. This is still going to produce some strong wind gusts, but at least as far as like anything really intense, we're going to avoid that for the most part as that moves to the south and east. So just a little bit. So heads up there along Highway 72. If you know someone that happens to be traveling along 72 right now, between we'll just say Stevenson and Huntsville there, just make sure they're aware and they're very careful in this area because there's going to be a strong to severe thunderstorm with a lot of heavy rain, lightning, strong wind gust potential. So if you know anybody that's traveling on 72 right now this evening between really Huntsville and Stevenson, just make sure they're aware of what's going on here as this moves to the south and east and make sure they're being very careful. And I'll tell you what, this one to the south of Scottsboro that started out as a downpour, it's really grown up quite a bit here. Again, the outflow from this thunderstorm complex to the north here, it's kind of broken up here. The outflow from it's sparking some thunderstorms out ahead of it here. So we'll see what that looks like here, see if we can get a good vantage point on it. And again, you can kind of see the shelf cloud right in here along the leading edge. So this thunderstorm is pretty much just about to overtake the section area, and it's overtaking pretty much Scottsboro right now. So again, the rain, if it hasn't started yet in downtown Scottsboro, it's about to momentarily. And as I said, it's going to continue moving south from there. So again, the winds will probably pick up first before the rain. Usually what happens in these situations is you get the gusty winds first before you get the rain. And then after that, the heavy downpours settle in, and of course you get the lightning as well. But again, I do want to emphasize no tornadic activity. Thankfully, we don't have any of that. I've been looking at velocities here. Nothing's really stood out to me on that end of things. And as I said, this is all flowing in one direction. So the wind mode's flowing in one direction, and also it's mostly outflow dominant. So that's keeping things from getting escalated here, at least on that end of things. So this is really just one of those strong, low-end severe storms that carries that potential for those strong, gusty winds. Again, that could be up to 50 to 60 miles an hour, which is why we have the severe thunderstorm warning in place until 9 o'clock for southern Jackson County and to northwestern DeKalb County here in northeast Alabama. Now, of course, remember, I cover about 30 counties here in this tri-state here, and this is the southwestern end of the coverage area here that includes northeast Alabama, so that's why I'm on here. Just to make sure these folks are aware of and make sure they are in a good safe place inside, away from windows, just to wait for this to pass here. And once this passes, that's it. That's the good thing with this. Once this passes over your location, it's one and done. So if you're in Scottsboro, once the rain, lets up after this wave passes, that's it. You don't have to worry about anything else big. Because everything, as you see behind all this, nothing really impressive stands out. I mean, we still got that heavy downpour up around McMinnville there in Warren County, expanding east into Van Buren, Ray, Bledsoe, and Cumberland there with some rain out ahead of that. Excuse me. But that's nothing to worry. There's nothing back here towards Nashville that looks anything threatening or anything like that. Just a little bit of light rain left over. And at the moment, I don't see anything out in here to the north, up towards the Ohio River Valley, that would look anything of significance either. So that's some good news there. So once this gets through Jackson County and DeKalb County here in Alabama here over the next roughly 30 minutes to an hour, that's it as far as all that's concerned. So that's pretty much it on that thing, on that end of things. So there's the situation there, just a new update that just came in. So that new scan, we're about to get another one here in just a couple minutes. Again, those of you between Sylvania and Valley Head, you got a heavy thunderstorm overhead right now. And then still got this very heavy storm moving over, basically right over the bridge there that goes across the Tennessee River there. That's Highway 35 out there that leads you from like Home Depot and the Walmart and all that up there in Scottsboro, and that leads you right down the road there up the mountain towards Section. That's the zone that's seeing the heaviest part of this thunderstorm right now. And as I said, it's moving right over Guntersville Lake and moving up towards Dutton and Section. And then here's this line segment here that extends from Limrock up through Larkinsville up to Pikeville, Alabama, over to Hollywood and the Bellefonte plant. And that's extending south. So that is pretty much, and considering this was updated at 8:31, now that it's 5 minutes old, you can kind of assume right in here that the thunderstorm's about right in this zone. So I'd imagine that this really heavy rain and thunderstorm activity is pretty much right over downtown Scottsboro, I'd say, as we speak here, at least on the next scan. So that'd be my estimation here. And again, we'll get a new scan here in just a minute here on this. So again, this is the only area that's experiencing strong to severe storms at this time, and that's why I want to point out here. So this would be southwestern Jackson County and northwestern DeKalb County are the only areas that are experiencing severe weather locally at the moment. And you can kind of see where it bows out right in here. So right over downtown Scottsboro out towards Woodville here along 72 roughly. So pretty much following 72. When you see that little bow structure, that's where you get that signature for gusty winds. So along the leading edge of that is where the strongest winds would be. So that's going to run right there at Veterans Drive there on Highway 72 there on the east side of town and all the way back towards the Aspel community into Woodville. That's the zone there where this heaviest part of this line of thunderstorms is going. And then you got another heavy storm over Section and Dutton moving to the south towards Rainsville. Here's another area south of Sylvania that's heading down between Fort Payne and Valleyhead. So you got three, and you got even more thunderstorms to the north and west. So what may happen here is, considering that these thunderstorms are somewhat training over similar areas here, that could increase the possibility of a little bit of minor flash flooding. Not anything too crazy, as long as it doesn't really train over the same areas, and hopefully it stays moving the way it is, and hopefully speeds up. But we'll have to watch in some low-lying areas up here, especially considering how saturated the ground is in this part of the tri-state, to see if any kind of flash flooding arises. And so far, I've not seen any kind of indications or reports here behind the scenes that indicate that's been going on, so that's good on that side of things. So yeah, let's check and see how that thunderstorm's looking there from a section here. And pretty, as you see there, the rain and thunderstorms have overtaken the camera at this point. So you see it's getting dark as well. So again, we're losing connection on that. But as you see, you really can't see anything anymore. I mean, you can just see how the rain and everything else is taking over that. So again, a pretty strong thunderstorm that's moving over Scottsboro and in southern Jackson County right now, points south up atop the mountain there towards Section, Dutton, and eventually towards Powell. That's going to be the zone that'll be seeing this over the next half hour roughly. And into the north and east, up around Eider and up towards Sulphur Springs, you don't have to worry about this anymore. This is to your west and south. Again, if you're watching from Bridgeport or Stevenson, you got nothing to worry about there. Nothing to worry about on the Tennessee side as well. Nothing to worry about on Georgia side. Just some rain out in here. Heavy thunderstorm over Summerville moving south towards Rome and Floyd County, but that's non-severe at this time. So some good news for those of you down that way. But again, that's the situation there at this time. So again, and here's a new update that I'm receiving here. I just got a new update on this warning for Jackson and DeKalb, so let me read this out to you. At 8:39, a severe thunderstorm was located near Woodville, or 8 miles west of Scottsboro, moving south at 20. 60-mile-an-hour winds and penny-sized hail are the primary hazards. It's radar indicated. Locations that are in the path of this include Scottsboro, Gunnersville, Rainsville, Sylvania, Powell, Grant, Skyline south of this, but Gurley, Section, and Woodville. So those are the locations that are in the path of this. That's the new warning update. Again, this expires in 20 minutes. So until 9 o'clock Central Time, that is 10 o'clock Eastern Time. That's the severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Jackson County and extreme northwest DeKalb County. So basically Rainsville, Sylvania, north and west. Fife has been taken out of this. So hopefully that's a good sign that this thunderstorm will continue on a weaker path, at least on the wind side of things, to the point where the warning will not have to be extended. So that's one thing I can say that's very encouraging out of this. So hopefully that trend will continue. But again, just out of precaution, that warning will remain in effect for the next 20 minutes in case this thunderstorm decides to pulse up again and try to get a little more windier again. But so far it is trending on the weaker end, even though it is definitely producing some torrential rain, quite a bit of lightning, and some gusty winds here along that leading edge. And there's the new scan right there. So Scottsboro's almost out of the worst of it here. It's almost out of town. Probably give it about another 5-10 minutes and it'll be out of town. And then up to the north around Skyline Hot Top, you're clear. This is to your south. Woodville, this is pretty much on top of your views as we speak here, especially on the east side of town. But you got another storm to the north that's going to probably move in there within the next 10 minutes or so. Get ready in Grant and Langston, as well as the rest of Guntersville Lake. This is going to be heading in your direction here over the next 10 minutes or so. And then also towards Rainsville, this will be heading your way with some torrential rain, gusty winds, and lightning. You already got a storm to your north and east, but the part that's being warned on is heading in your direction and pretty much paralleling Highway 35 here, so that's heading in your way. And now this storm, at least the thunderstorm itself, will probably make it down towards Fife and Shiloh and even Geraldine. But the confidence right now in it being a severe storm by that point is pretty low right now. As I've been looking at the wind velocities here, I mean, I'm not really seeing anything really standing out. As I've been looking at the wind speeds here, they have really decreased over the last 10 minutes here. I mean, it was showing 60 to 65 earlier, and then it went down to 50 to 60, and now we're down to around 40. So, as I said, at least the wind field in this is really coming down quite a bit in intensity, which is a great sign. So, I mean, these thunderstorms are still healthy. As I said, they're producing that torrential rain and all that. But as far as the wind is concerned, that part is decreasing at this moment. Now, as this moves up Sand Mountain here over the next 10 to 15 minutes, we'll have to watch and see if it were to try to pulse up again as it gets back up in elevation. So that'll be something to watch. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but as this moves up Sand Mountain, as we've seen before, sometimes the wind may increase again with this. So again, that's why the warning remains in effect here for about another 17 minutes, is just in case it were to pulse back up again. Then, at least it will still be in place, so that way you're prepared. So that's why you still want to be, in a good safe place away from windows here around Langston and Section and down towards Sylvania, Powell, Dutton, in those areas. And even Rainsville itself from downtown and north. At least wait till this passes, or at least until the warning is allowed to expire. Definitely stay inside. Don't be outside in this, especially with all the lightning. Lightning's a real deal with this, and you definitely don't want to be caught outside in it either. As I said, I'm not seeing any indications of any kind of rotation or anything like that as I turn on some different products here. Not seeing any of that. And one thing I can tell you here is this is producing a lot of rain here over the past hour. You can kind of see where it's rained the heaviest, a good 1 to 2 inches here across the northwest end of Jackson County along west of 79 and up 65 there. Around Estill Fork, up towards Jericho, east of High Top, there's at least a good 1 to 2 inches of rain within the past hour, that is. And then when I put on total, you can kind of see where the overall trend has been today, where the heaviest rain has fallen. And you can see it's mainly been in our western areas today. Like, for example, Chattanooga, you've got a little bit of rain. Cleveland, you had a little bit of rain. Same with Dalton, but you haven't had near as much as these areas to the west. So this whole corridor out here from west of the Squatchy Valley and also Jackson County north, this is where most of the rain has been today, mostly in the range of 1 to 2 inches. So I thought I'd show that there real fast just to show you the history of all this as this all moves to the south and east. So again, Scottsboro, give it about another 5 minutes or so and you will be good to go as far as like being in the clear from any kind of severe weather's concerns. So as I said, once this gets past you, that's it. One and done. That's a good thing here. So everybody else is pretty much in the clear, but for those in southern Jackson and northwestern DeKalb, you're not quite clear yet because you got this warning in effect. Everybody in this area, you're in good shape. I do have to say. I do want to make a quick note also. As I said a little bit ago, about 20, 30 minutes ago ish. I am looking over the latest tomorrow real quick, and I do want to point out that there will be another round of rain and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon from around lunchtime through about early evening. The latest model data does have kind of a small complex of some thunderstorms moving through. Now, whether they'll be scattered or if they'll be in that one complex, that still remains to be seen. But the latest data I've been able to pick up that's just coming in now is showing a small line of at least a line of thunderstorms that could produce some, like what this one's doing, some gusty winds and all that. And we do have a marginal severe risk for Monday afternoon and evening. It's not a big risk. It's not like anything crazy, but there could be one or two severe thunderstorm warnings similar to this evening here as we get into tomorrow afternoon, evening on June 1st. And again, the main timing of this, I'll go in and give you a quick time frame, at least as far as tomorrow's activities, so you can plan ahead. In case you miss tonight's written update, that'll write up here after we get through with this. Main time frame here is between noon and 6. So between noon and 6 will be the main time frame to look out for tomorrow afternoon for some more rain and thunderstorm activity. So, and the good thing is, after tomorrow, after we get through after we get through our Monday here, we should be fine the rest of the week. The good thing is the rest of the week will be looking dry Tuesday through Friday. Weather's going to be absolutely beautiful midweek. Wednesday and Thursday will by far be the best days of the week. And then next weekend it'll get humid again. But at the moment, though, just to kind of stay on topic here at the moment, we still got this one severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect for southern Jackson County and northern Marshall and northwestern DeKalb for about another 13 minutes. My clock here says 8:47 Central, so that's about 13 minutes from now. And I'll go ahead and say, and I'll double check to make sure before I say anything here, that, yeah, the wind mode here continues to slowly decrease. It's really, at this point, mostly just a gusty cluster of thunderstorms here moving across northeast Alabama. And it's moving south across northeast Alabama, I should say. And as I said, Fort Payne, you're getting ready to have a thunderstorm here, but this is non-severe. But again, to the south, west and south of you, got this line that's moving to the south and east. So areas that have not been affected yet towards Rainsville, down towards Geraldine, Collinsville, west towards the Gunnersville, Albertville area, you will be getting all this rain and thunderstorm activity are within the next 30 minutes to an hour at least. And again, the speed of it will determine on when exactly it gets there, but again, within about the next hour or so, you will be getting this as it moves to the south. And again, as I said, there are some pop-up showers trying to form here across parts of southern Middle Tennessee, but nothing big there. Also, if you're hearing a little bit of thunder up in northern Grundy County, there around Beersheba or Altamont, yes, you do have a heavy downpour and a small thunderstorm up in here moving to the south, but currently it is non-severe. But do expect some heavy downpours there as that moves south through parts of Grundy County and Squatchy County, and eventually that could affect Marion and western Hamilton down the road too within the hour. But at the moment, I'm not seeing anything really big with that, and all this rain to the east of that is non-severe. And then here's the other heavy storm that's moving out of Chattooga County and into Floyd County towards Rome. Just a heavy thunderstorm there. And again, this is the only warning we have at this time. Here's the only warning we have at this time. It's for southwestern Jackson County. So they've taken Hollywood out. So if you're in Hollywood, you're good. Pisgah, you're good. So Henniger, Pisgah, Hollywood, Skyline, you're clear. And I'll even say the city of Scottsboro. So if you're in Scottsboro, you're good. The worst of this is passing south of you now. So you're good. You're good to go in Scottsboro. Woodville, give it about another 10 more minutes until warning expiration time because you got another thunderstorm approaching from the north. But if you're in Scottsboro, you're good. Langston, Section, Dutton, Powell, Rainsville, Sylvania, give it about another 10 minutes. See what this line of thunderstorms does. See if it continues on the weak trend or it re-intensifies. We'll just have to wait and see. But again, as this moves to the south, and you can kind of see it right in here, it is more disorganized than it was earlier as it came down through western Jackson County. So that's a positive sign here as this climbs up Sand Mountain here, and part of it also moves down the Tennessee River into parts of Marshall County too. But again, this is the area right now that's currently under the warning, and I'll double check and make sure we don't have any other advisories or anything like that. Now to the right, you're seeing tornado warnings, and that's in South Dakota. That's not here. Not sure why that popped up on there, but just want to let you know we don't have any of that here. So if I had to draw an X, I'd draw an X over that. But here's the main zone right now, extending from Madison County, Huntsville area, all the way down into northern Marshall, around Grant, over towards Swearingen, up to about Woodville, extending into Langston now. So it's starting to get loud in Langston. Section, heavy rain over you now, over towards Powell. Dutton's on the north side of this, so if you're in Dutton, I'm going to go ahead and give you the all clear in Dutton, as well as Sylvania. So if you're in Dutton, Sylvania, I'll go ahead and give you the all clear there, because this is passing to your west. And then also Hollywood, again, you're good. Again, Fort Payne, you got a heavy thunderstorm about to move overhead, as well as Little River Canyon, so make sure you are inside in a good, safe place here, top Lookout Mountain and down into Fort Payne, as well as Pine Ridge. And that moves south. That's going to move into Cherokee. That's going to move into Cherokee County, Alabama, shortly. So if you know anybody that happens to be, let's say, out in the water tonight or anything like that on Weiss Lake, down there around Cedar Bluff and Center, make sure that they are aware that they have thunderstorms moving in that have some lightning in them and some gusty winds and heavy rain, and they need to get off the water down there. So just make sure they're staying safe down there as well, at least from the lightning, as that thunderstorm will be in that area within the next hour. And again, as I double check the newest velocity scan here, again, this wind field continues to come down, only showing 30s in here now, so that's good. So that's another sign that more than likely this warning will likely be allowed to expire right at expiration time. So as you saw, there was a new flash on that screen, so that means there was a new update. Let me see what's being said here. I hope it says that it will be expiring at time without extension. So let's see. Nope, no new change there. So yeah, so it turns out the warning will remain in effect till 9 o'clock. Okay, so again, I haven't heard anything new on what they're going to do with that yet, but I'm sure we'll know pretty quickly here in about 5 to 10 minutes, because the warning expires here in 8 minutes. So again, this is the orange polygon you see on the map in the middle of your screen. That's the severe thunderstorm warning. But as I said, we can pretty much take out Scottsboro out of this now. So as I said, Scottsboro, you're good. You're good to go. Woodville, as I said, give it a few more minutes there. Pleasant Groves, you're clear. Skyline, you're good. Pisgah, Dutton, Sylvania, Henniger, Hollywood, y'all are good. Also Fackler, you're in good shape there. And really, if any of you are still watching, I mean, you are free to go to bed. I mean, you don't have to worry about anything severe the rest of the night. I don't expect anything to really ramp up the rest of the night. I mean, we may have some occasional rain and thunderstorms in the area from time to time, like what they're seeing up in northern Grundy County right now around Beersheba and Altamont, but I really don't anticipate any additional issues here the rest of tonight. Sometimes what happens in these situations like we've had this evening is sometimes thunderstorms will flare up enough to where they can become severe and produce damaging, gusty to damaging winds, and that's what's happened here in our western areas here tonight. So far, I'll double check storm reports here just to make sure we don't have it, see if we have any kind of reports or anything as far as wind damage or anything like that. And so far, nothing's popped up on here or on my end, so that's good. So that's the good news there. So hopefully that means we haven't had anything really crazy that's happened here over the last little bit. So as I'll double check to make sure. And that the good thing is I'm not seeing anything there on the reports. And I will double check also spotters and all that too, just to make sure. And yes, we are still good on that, so that's good. So the heaviest part of this storm is now over Grant and the south side of Section, south side of Langston there, moving south. So again, if you're in Dutton, you're good. Pisgah, you're good, as I said. You're almost out of this. Give it about 5 more minutes or so. Same with the north side of Rainsville there that are still technically in the warning. But as you see here, this is definitely disorganized at this point. I know you're seeing that little pink area west of Grant and wondering what that is. That's probably some small hail in that area, but not seeing anything large or damaging or anything like that. Probably some, maybe some penny-sized hail at most there in that part of the storm. But as I said here, nothing really is standing out to me at this point, at this moment. And again, let me make sure okay, good thing is my Wi-Fi's working there. Kind of lost connection over just a second there, but we're back up here. But at the moment, that's the situation. Again, we're actually now seeing only 20 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts in here, so this has really come down in intensity. As I said, the organization of the storm is disorganized at this point, so that's good. as it moves into northern Marshall County and extreme southern Jackson County and moving in northwestern DeKalb County, Alabama here. So, the thing here is, I don't anticipate this warning being extended, barring something crazy. It might get extended as what's called a special weather statement, but that's about all I see. Alrighty, so I just got some word in, and this is going to be great news for everybody in Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall counties. The severe thunderstorm warning will be allowed to expire right at 9 o'clock, and it will not be issued. It will not be reissued. So the storm that prompted the warning has weakened below severe limits and no longer poses an immediate threat to life or property. Therefore, the warning will be allowed to expire right at 9 o'clock. However, gusty winds and heavy rain will still be possible with this thunderstorm. So, good news for those of you in Jackson, Marshall, and DeKalb counties, as well as eastern Madison County, too. The severe thunderstorm warning is going to expire right on time at 9 o'clock and will not be reissued because this thunderstorm, as I've been saying over the last 10 to 20 minutes, has weakened below severe levels, and those winds continue to decrease in this. So, some great news for those of you in northeast Alabama here that have been in this warning. So, once the clock hits 9 o'clock here, you will be officially all clear from severe weather in the affected areas that you see here on the map that are in the orange. So, as I said, I've already given you the all clear in Scottsboro, so you're still good. But again, if you're down towards Powell, Langston section, you got 3 more minutes and you'll be good. And same with Grant and other areas that were also in the warning. So, so with that said here, since that is weakened below severe levels and is no longer posing an imminent threat to life or property or anything like that, we'll check on some of the other storms real quick before I get off here at 9 o'clock. Heavy thunderstorm moving over Fort Payne, heading up towards Little River Canyon, but that's non-severe. This heavy thunderstorm that was in Chattooga County is moving into Floyd County and heading towards Rome. Just got some light to moderate rain moving across Walker County, Whitfield, into Murray County. So from Lafayette over towards Dalton, Tunnel Hill, Rocky Face, Eton, Chatsworth area. And up around Bradley County, a little bit of light rain around Cleveland and up into Polk County and also towards Harrison, but that's non-severe. Here's the other, we'll just call it a heavy downpour. A heavy downpour that's crossing over Beersheba Springs and Altamont and northern Grundy County. But again, that's weakening. That's weak, thankfully, non-severe. We'll check the wind on that real quick just to make sure, and very little with that. So those of you around Altamont up towards Beersheba, east of Cagle, you got nothing to worry about there. Spencer, McMinnville, you're on the back side of this now, so you guys are good. But again, just some rain and some good old-fashioned rains in here extending from southern Warren and northern Grundy counties east into Squatchy, Bledsoe, Ray, and Meigs counties. So it's definitely a heavy sail for sure over there over Savage Gulf and Beersheba and Altamont there, moving into Squatchy County and the rest of Grundy. But again, it's non-severe. Got a couple of other thunderstorms to note here over Flintville and Huntland there, in southeastern Lincoln and southwestern Franklin counties, but these are non-severe. These are mostly popping up on the backside of this thunderstorm complex that we'll just say was severe, but it will no longer be severe officially in 1 minute. So 8:59 there. So as I said, if you're watching me from anywhere, you are free to go to bed. You don't have anything to worry about. Don't be surprised if you get woken up here over the next few hours by some rain or a little bit of thunder or anything. I mean, don't be alarmed by that. That's just because we still have that chance here for the next few hours. But I do believe as we get towards midnight and afterwards, that stuff will fade out. We'll wake up. You'll just have to be aware for some patchy fog in the morning, especially where it's rained. And then again, Monday afternoon, evening, June 1st, tomorrow, we'll have to watch for more rain and thunderstorms as we go along here. So now that we've hit 9 o'clock, that warning down there you see in orange for Jackson and other surrounding northeast Alabama counties, including DeKalb and Marshall, that'll be off the map here in just a matter of seconds. So with that said, since we don't have any kind of severe weather issues happening and that warning has expired without any extension, I'm going to be signing off here for the night. Again, stay tuned for updates. I'll try to get a written post out here within the next 30 minutes to an hour or so before going to bed here for the night. And of course, stay tuned for our updates all day tomorrow as well as we track another chance for rain and storms. But after tomorrow, weather will be much better towards middle to late week. So with that said, hope you guys have a great night, and I will see y'all with more updates here going forward.